Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends. I'm your host, Ray Shasho. Ray Alder is the lead vocalist of the progressive metal band Fates Warning since their 1988 release, No Exit. He has released two albums, Engine in 1999 and Superholic in 2002 with Engine. He also sang on Redemption's albums, The Origins of Ruin, The Fullness of Time, Snowfall and Judgment Day, this Mortal Coil, and The Art of Loss, having produced their debut self-titled release in 2002. Ray Alder's second solo release is simply entitled Two, but in musical terms, that is a much more revealing exploratory piece of work than its predecessor. Alder states this album is more of a reflection of what I heard going forward as a solo artist. Longer songs, deeper lyrics, and really pushing myself vocally. I hope that whoever listens to it enjoys it as much as I did while working on it. You can check out the opening track, This Hollow Shell, on YouTube, and you can pre-order the album now on various formats at rayalder.link.2/2. The release date, the official release date, is June 9th this year. Please welcome the legendary singer of progressive metal giants Fates Warning, Ray Alder, to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, Ray.
Hey, Ray. How's it going?
Good, man. Where are you at today?
I'm in Madrid, Spain.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you doing there?
I've lived there now for like almost 7 years.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Huh.
I'm an expat.
Wow, very cool. Huh. Can you speak Spanish? Oh, yeah, you're Mexican background, so most likely, right?
I speak Mexican.
You speak Mexican?
Yeah, man, my Spanish is terrible. It's like I said, it's been almost 7 years, and most of my friends there speak English. I work from home. I mean, I can get around if I need to, although it's pretty difficult. You know, I muddle my way through a conversation.
Yeah, and the Spanish, my sister-in-law, her family was from Spain, and they got that TH, so it's very different,
The C's are pronounced TH.
Yeah, Tinko, Yeah. My mom was Cuban. So I'm like you, man. I was stubborn when I was a kid. I should be speaking fluent because I grew up with my abuela and my tias in the house, and they were speaking Spanish all the time. But
exactly the same. My mother, her sisters, all my family, they all spoke Spanish except all the kids, all my cousins. None of us bothered to learn. I mean, we lived in Texas. We went to school and we spoke English.
Yeah,
they never really spoke to us. They yelled at us in Spanish, I guess, but I don't know what they were saying.
You got to know the curse words. Come on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oye, mi chico, carajo. It's fun to curse in Cuban because the Cubans have the cutesy ways of slipping in these, little isms and stuff,
Yeah, it's funny. We went to see Tom Segura last night. He did a show here in Madrid in English, and it was fucking funny as shit. And he's talking about his mom, which is his mother's Peruvian.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the way he spoke, the accent and shit was just fucking hilarious. It reminded me of Texas.
Yeah. You remind me a little bit of Lolly Vegas. You know who that is?
Mm-mm.
No, you remember a band called Redbone?
No. I
Oh my God! Now I feel old. They did a song called "Come and Get Your Love," the Witch Queen of New Orleans.
Of okay, yeah.
They were of Mexican descent, and Lolly had long hair like you did, and they had Indian blood, but they never wanted to expose their Indian culture. And somebody told them you should because it'd be good for the music and for the band. So they finally did, and they got really big. I had Lolly's brother on the show, man. He's a really cool guy. Let's talk about the new release. It's awesome.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I gave it 5 stars.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great album.
Thanks, dude.
Did you have a particular decree that resonated from this album? like a bit of a concept, I guess.
No, not really, not at all. I mean, when we did the first album, the first solo, when I did the first solo, it was I just wanted to do something different than Fates, like
Hmm.
sort of distance myself in a way. So, we had shorter songs, not really that heavy. There was a couple of heavy tracks, but I don't know. It was just different. I wanted it to be different. I didn't want to be not in a bad way at all associated, with Fate's Warning. I'm like, okay, here I am. Um, but with this one, I kind of went back to my roots, and I knew I wanted longer songs and darker lyrics, and like kind of my old roots. And I mentioned this the other day to somebody, and I don't
Hmm.
want anyone to take it to heart, but like it just kind of reminds me of like the old, like maybe like old Queensryche, like the Warning kind of stuff, like, which I loved. It's one of my
Hmm.
favorite albums. But it was really dark, and I think that was a cool period for them. And I wanted to have great choruses, but again, darker lyrics, fiction based, and I mean, obviously based on reality, but just fiction. And with this one, it was funny with the record company. They were like, um, maybe you can name it after one of the songs. And I said, I don't want to do that. I kind of did that in the last album, and there's no um, common thread except the lyrics are dark.
Right.
Not one has to do with the other. Um, and then we're talking about the cover and the title, and what about this? And I just want to call it two. I'm
Hmm.
sorry, but that's what I want to do. And they were not happy, man. They were not happy about it at all. We went back and forth, and what about this? What about this? It doesn't make sense to call it something. I don't want all that focus to be on one song because it just doesn't, it doesn't make sense. So I said, I'm going to call it two. I'm sorry. That's what it's going to be. And they said, okay, well, let's just call it two then. We don't think it's a good idea. So, and then they sent me an email a few days later and they said, look, the Winery Dogs' new album is called Three. I said, see, I don't get it. See, it's fine, And then, you look at a lot of albums. I actually started digging around on Google, and there's a lot of albums.
Yeah,
It's called, some are called second album, third album, 3, 2, 4.
exactly.
Um, so I'm one of those people that says or thinks rather that I really don't think album covers sell
Not
albums.
anymore. They used
No,
to. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so I went the simple route on this. I think
Hmm.
the focus is on the music and not on the artwork. And I mean, I'm still one of those people, and maybe you are too, that will actually open the booklet and read the lyrics
Sure.
and read the special thanks and things like that.
Right.
And I'm cool with that.
Hmm.
But as far as the album cover, and but it's funny. This is funny. I said this before too. Um, I did buy an album based on the cover once. I did, and it was Armored Saints EP.
Hmm.
And I was in the record store, and I was a kid, and I said, "Oh, this looks cool." She's black with a red, logo. It has nothing to do with my album cover.
Hmm.
I swear to you, it doesn't. But I just remembered that lately, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I did buy a fucking album." And I told this story to somebody. I bought that day. I bought the Armored Saint EP, and I bought Grim Reaper, Seed
Hmm.
in Hell, the two albums in a record store. And that was, the old days when you're flipping through albums.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are some of my first two albums I ever bought. It was funny. But anyway, the story is, to get back to your question. No, there's no real common thread. There's
Hmm.
there's no repeating sort of story. So there you go. Two. That's the name of the album. My second one.
Well, like you said, the cover doesn't matter because you came out of the gate with this hollow shell, which is an official video, and that just kind of blew everybody away. That's a great song,
I
man.
hope so. Yeah, yeah. Mike
Yeah,
did a fantastic job with that. Beautiful.
yeah. You mentioned writing it. I guess it was like a huge blank canvas that I couldn't wait to begin painting on, and which is really cool. I like that.
It
Um,
was true, man. When he sent me, Mike sent me a bunch of demos, man. I think I had like 8 or 9 demos from Mike,
right.
and of course he's one of the coolest guys in the world, and he was just just pick pick whatever you want, man. You know
Hmm.
we can work. And I said, okay. He doesn't speak that way, but that's just me. And that was one of the ones that where when I heard it, I mean that song really hasn't even changed that much from the demo. I mean, except that we re-recorded everything,
Hmm.
but it just blew me away, that song. I mean, Mike has this amazing talent to use all of his effects
Right.
um to create like an atmosphere, and to me, when I heard that in the very intro, just blew me away. And when the drums kick in, it has that great sort of head nodding beat.
Hmm.
That was cool. And that song to me it's just became one of my favorites because I mean it has so many different parts, and then there's uh, just to build up to this crescendo at the end, to me was fantastic. So I assumed it would be a good song to release first to give people an idea of what the album's about. I hope you managed that.
Oh, I think you did. And the lyrics are incredible, man. I'm just going to read a couple of the lyrics from that song. The broken words fall from the mouth, and you believe them. The consequences leave no doubt that we're running out of time. I feel a cold chill down my spine. I'm screaming with no sound. I'm moving in slow motion. Close enough now to take you down. Black, all that I see is black. You run the blade through my back. But I wanted to feel this just to make sense of the static within. And though we lay down our pride and act of our desperate fools. The final moment has arrived. This will all be over soon. I mean, that is really cool.
Yeah,
Those lyrics are great.
it's a weird song again. I mean, fiction based. I again I credit it to Mike,
Hmm.
who again just created this atmosphere, sort of. Oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? Not evil, but sort of menacing, I guess is the word.
Right,
Some
right.
kind of. So that made me think about a sort of situation gone wrong, and a sort of revenge,
Hmm.
kind of someone who's been wronged very badly, and there will be consequences, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just what I felt like writing about, I guess. I don't know.
And you're one of
It's not
those
really a lot.
guys. Your band. You've always been one of those bands that's kind of cinematic because you always get a vision in your head from lyrics like that of what it
Mhm.
could be, which is
Yeah.
cool. You
And
know.
I try to, almost every interview I do, everyone asks me about the lyrics, which is
Hmm.
funny. Um, I remember there was an interview with Mike Patton a long time ago, video. He was a kid still. And they said, "What about the lyrics on the real thing?" And he's like, "Man, don't ask me about my lyrics." And that was it. That was the last. I wish I could say that,
It's
but
all
I mean,
about the lyrics.
yeah, I mean, but you see, it's to me, it's like I always want to, paint a picture
Right.
that listener can come up with their own idea of what the lyrics
Exactly.
are about. And once you start explaining them, it just kind of takes away from the mystery, And it's happened before where I'll explain lyrics to somebody and they're like, "Oh, why did you tell me that? I thought it was something completely different."
Exactly. Yeah.
And even there was a song, 1000 Fires
Hmm.
from Darkness to a Different Light. And Jim never asked what they were about. So one day I just told him, and he's like, "Dude, why'd you tell me that? Like, I thought it was about this. Like,
I
oh, now
know.
you ruined it for me." And I said, "Oh yeah." And the same happens with other people. I explained the song to my wife. She's like, "Why did you tell me that?" So I kind of don't want to tell people about
Right.
it. I just want people to know that they are dark.
Right.
They're mostly fiction based. There's one song on the album, Silence Anime, that's actually about um that is reality based. It's Paula. I forget her name. She was the spiritual advisor for
Hmm.
Jeff Sass, and she's the televangelist that just takes people's monies and promises that God will reward them. If you give her money, God's going to give you money, kind of thing. So that song "Silence Enemy" is actually reality based, and that's about that chick. I forget
Right.
her last name, Paula something. But other than that, it's just again, I want people to have their own visions. You know, like you listen to songs like from for example, Disintegration, The
Hmm.
Cure. I don't want to know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I just think however he put those words together, Robert Smith. It's
Right.
just perfect, and you have this vision in your head, and it goes great with the music. And to me, that's
Exactly.
perfection.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mike, does Mike play most of the guitar licks on all the tracks, or
He plays on seven on six tracks.
on six
So Mike,
tracks?
Mike plays six tracks, and he plays bass on his,
Right.
and Tony Hernando plays three tracks with all the bass on his. They decided, each of them decided that they would rather play their own bass,
Hmm.
which I thought was perfectly fine. You know,
Yeah.
rather than bring somebody else in, I think they do a great job, and they're as well as good guitar player. I mean, great guitar players. They're great bass players.
Right.
So I let them do whatever they wanted. Put it that way.
Bass players don't get enough credit, you know.
No, they don't. They
You know.
don't. Joey Vera is one of the best in the world. I'll say that, and
Yeah.
I love playing with that guy. He's super talented. Um, and just a great guy all around. But yeah, you're right. They don't. They don't.
My Oblivion, another great track. Again, the guitar licks are incredible, you know. And you know, you
Yeah,
did a great job not to sound like Fate's Warning. And you're right
yeah,
about that. It's totally new in my opinion. You know, it's
yeah.
it's
I
all about
mean,
you.
I think
Yeah.
I don't know how easy it would be, but I'm sure if we wanted to, we
Right.
could do something that sounds like Fate's Warning. But no, and again, this is the writing came from Mike Abdel's mind
Mm-hmm.
and Tony's mind. Um, so yeah, again, but the people are always going to compare. That's just how it is.
Right.
But I'm fine with that. I mean, I know it's not, and I like the idea of the longer songs in this album. I was kind of used to that, with Fates. But for me to do something that's going to be completely different, I think would just be too weird. I mean, I'm not going to do grunge or anything. I don't really know what that is anymore, but
Yeah. I know. Music has changed a
it has.
lot. Yeah.
It really has, and it's funny. Someone asked me about this the other day, and he's like, what are you listening to now? What new bands do you like? I said, I fucking really don't listen to music that much
Yeah.
anymore. It's sad. I mean, it was
It
my life
is.
growing up. I'm sure you do. You have a show
Mm-hmm.
on rock. But when I do listen to music, maybe we're in the car or something, or we're at the house having a glass of wine, sitting outside or something. We'll put on some music, but it's just not like it was in the old days.
No.
Carrying around your cassette tape. I don't know if you did that, and
Oh yeah. I
taking
had
it to
Walkmans.
parties,
Sure.
taking it to your friend's house. Like, check this out, man.
Yeah.
Trying to turn everybody on to your stuff. I
Exactly.
remember those days, but now it's like I listen to. I don't know, man. Like I like Alice in Chains a lot. I know whenever we put something on, it's either Alice in Chains, old Deep Purple, or
But then again, they've been around a long time.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
I listen to old stuff.
I
I listen
know. That's what
to
happens.
different stuff. Yeah, I don't know anything new that I really like. I couldn't even tell you. I really
I
couldn't.
bring there's a lot of good prog rock out
Yeah,
there. There's a lot of new albums. The only problem is they're not recognized here in the United States that much. So I bring them on my show
yeah.
and expose them here in the United States. You know,
That's cool.
there's a lot of good stuff out there. You know,
It's cool. It's like when you go to Prague Power. There's
yeah,
bands there that I like. I've never even heard
right,
of, but they have this huge following in America
yep,
because they've never been there before. And
hmm,
that's really cool. It really is. I don't know. It's not that I don't have the time. I don't know. I don't listen to music that much anymore. I don't. It's pretty sad.
Plus, there's a lot of prog metal. You know, a lot of prog metal now, and a lot of shredding going on, and you know that kind of
There's
stuff,
that
like Dream
band.
Theater. Yeah,
Yeah, there's that
that kind
band
of
from England
style.
that's pretty big now, right? That prog
Yeah,
band.
yeah.
What's her name? They were. God, I can't think of the name. It's one word.
Is there a girl in it?
No, it's just
No.
a bunch of guys. They just have a new album with a monkey on the cover.
Oh yeah, that's oh my
Pocket.
god. I
Haken.
just yeah, is that Ross
How do you
Jennings?
pronounce that?
Haken, right?
Haken, I guess.
Haken, yeah.
I read a lot about those guys, and those guys are doing great.
I had Ross on the show not long ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super happy for those guys to see prog, like, you know, that kind of music being that popular.
Yep.
It's inspiring. It really is, especially in this day and age, you know.
And they're touring US right now.
Yeah.
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 Which I'm glad to see.
Yeah. I listen to some of the music. It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me of like kind of some older kind of prog.
Right.
So yeah, good for them.
Yeah.
Happy for them.
There's a lot of good bands like that. They got some good albums out there, you know. So, man, if I had a radio station, I'd blow everybody away. I'm telling you, man.
In the old days, you didn't. I'm sure you don't know him, but it was Joe Anthony in San Antonio, Texas.
Right.
Had his radio show, and he was one of the coolest DJs ever, man. Like, and he was one of the first ones ever played like Rush on the radio.
Right.
Triumph, Merciful Fate,
Mm-hmm.
Fate's Warning. He was playing Awaken the Guardian when I lived in San Antonio. That's how I got into the band.
Mm-hmm.
And he just played all this really cool music that regular radio would never play. And you know, I credit that guy for pretty much where I am now,
Mm-hmm.
because of the. I wouldn't have heard that music otherwise if it weren't for this guy, Joe Anthony. Man, he was sort of the guy. They call him the Godfather.
Is he still around?
No, he passed away a long time
Oh,
ago.
wow.
And
Yeah.
it was sad because I always wanted to meet him, and we were on tour with Fates, and we were
Mhm.
supposed to have dinner with him, and I was so looking forward, dude. He was my hero, and something happened with us, and like the bus broke down or something, and we couldn't make it.
Oh,
And I
it's a
remember
shame.
talking to him on the phone, and you know, he's like, "Hey, Ray, you know, we're really sorry we can't meet you." And he didn't come to the show, and I never got to meet him after that.
Oh, wow. That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I saw you singing with Queen, I can't talk today. Queensryche.
Queensryche.
Yeah, man. That was cool. You guys were great together,
Seattle?
you know?
You're in Seattle, or
I'm in Florida.
Okay. Oh, I
I'm
remember
near
that
Tampa.
place.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That was fun, man. That was the last tour we did. It's amazing. Like that was 4 years ago, right? Yeah. It's too bad. Sucks. I really miss touring, but yeah, it was really cool touring with those guys. They're super nice. Seems like we've known them forever now.
Yeah.
You know?
Their new album's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Todd's a good singer. They're doing well.
Yeah. I had the old
Who else
singer
is
on the
touring so
show.
much all the time? I'm stuck over here. You know, we can't get a drummer. I don't know what the hell's going on anymore.
So what are you gonna tour and put a band together or
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to. I'd really like
yeah.
to. But, you know, I don't know if promoters are willing to take a chance on having me out there. I'd love to do like an opening slot or something.
Right.
I mean, everybody in the band wants to tour, Mike and Craig and Tony and everybody. But it's just a matter of, I don't know, logistics and money if it were to happen. But I'd love to. I would love to play these new songs live. It would be a dream.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with that. I mean, I don't know.
Would you start like in Europe? I mean, to start touring in Europe, or
I would imagine it would be a little easier. To
yeah,
go to Europe.
right,
Maybe start with a few shows.
right.
But I don't know. It's pretty hard nowadays, I guess. I mean, I was talking to Jim Matthias a couple of weeks ago. Next year is going to be the 40th anniversary of Fates.
Mm-hmm.
And we're thinking of doing something special.
Yep.
Some shows, maybe not even a full tour, but like sort of like Fates Fest or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, we're talking about it, but
Mhm.
it's really difficult to nail Bobby down because Bobby is, I don't know if you know, but now he's playing with George Strait, one of the biggest country stars.
Really?
Yeah.
You went country, huh?
He's George Strait's drummer. pretty amazing.
Wow.
Doing arenas, 30,000 people in the round.
Yeah.
And it was like Bobby's dream. Bobby used to, he loves country music. He used to play it on the bus all the time. We were like, dude, okay, that's enough of that. But he would always try to get us. You got to check this out, man. Check it out. Dude, listen to this beat. And you're like, no, dude, no. So anyway, he's with George Strait, and
Mm.
he's happy as he's just as happy as can be. But George Strait is he just does shows whenever he wants, so
Yeah.
it's kind of on the hook. So we're trying to work around that and see what happens, but hopefully we'll figure something out.
Hey, how about a new genre, prog country? I haven't heard that yet.
I don't think that would work.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to try to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, back to the album, man. Some great tracks. Can you tell me about a track that you were, had specifically in mind? This is what it's about. And I was thinking, waiting for some sun. What can you talk about that track? That was a shorter one.
Ask me about my lyrics again, man.
Yeah, I know.
No, waiting for some sun. It's sort of, I guess it's about regret.
Okay.
Maybe it's so obvious, but maybe you leave someone behind and you regret it terribly, and
Right.
you're having to live with that guilt, kind of thing, I guess, for forever. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I guess basically, yeah. Let's just say some songs about regret. I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
What about Silence the Enemy? Is there an enemy in particular you're thinking about?
That's the one I was talking about. The Paula chick, the televangelist chick.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, she's just an enemy of the people. She really is.
Yeah.
I think she's being investigated now too.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Collecting money for God. Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, for your
pocket. Yeah.
It's a scam.
It is a scam. They should all be in jail for doing that. I'm telling you, man. It's crazy. Other tracks, you got Keep Wondering, which is a little bit more mellower track. I love that track. Those words, I bled. Another incredible guitar again.
Yeah.
On that one. And
again, Mike with his atmosphere, it's just pretty awesome. I love that guy.
Got a good band there. It'd be good to see you guys.
I'd be down
the road a little bit.
I mean, I'm totally down if it were to ever happen. I'd run out the door.
Absolutely. Yep. Passengers. That's a rocker. Changes, the final cut on the album. Very cool intro on that, and some awesome guitar shredding.
Yeah, there's some shredding. Tony let loose.
Yeah.
On that one. Yeah, that's the longest song on the album too.
That's 7 minutes and 45 seconds.
It was actually longer, and I ended up cutting it down a bit.
Really?
Yeah, it was just too much. I mean, we had problems with length. Disc. We're about to run out of time on the disc as well. So, and it's funny story. I don't know if people even care, but whenever you write an album, you have for me, one of the hardest parts of making an album is the sequence.
Right.
Is what songs go where and which is first, which is last, what's in between, what goes better after this one.
Sure.
And for me, that's like, I'm pulling my hair out, trying to figure that out. And I finally got the right sequence. And I said, this is it. And spoke to everybody, and everyone's, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, this is exactly it. Like I told everyone to make their own list. And we'll put it together and see how it works. And we were all pretty close. And I said, okay, perfect. This is it. A couple of weeks later, record company says, this won't work. It doesn't work on the vinyl. One side is too long. I said, well, I don't know what to tell you. So I'm not going to change it. Well, you have to, this and that, sound quality. And I said, well, why don't we just leave one off of the vinyl? And oh, no, you can't leave it. It's okay. Well, fuck. So I ended up having to change the sequence on and that pained me, man, for like a couple of weeks, it really, really bothered me. But there was really nothing I could do, and that's for the vinyl that I guess people collect. And I don't know. I read something the other day. It's like 70% of people who collect vinyl don't even have a turntable. So at that point, I was like, what does it matter?
Right. That's true. Yeah. So when you get a
story, the sequence was different.
When you get a bonus track, where's that put normally? Is that on a CD usually, not on an album, right?
Yeah, it's usually on like a digipack now. They put out the digipack,
right?
More packaging. I don't think it's another CD. I don't remember now. It's been so long, but yeah, it's usually on the digipack. That's I guess more expensive.
Yeah, I see that a lot.
Bought an album, to be honest with you.
I see a lot of bonus tracks.
The last album I know we bought was the AC/DC album, because it came with that little Marshall that you push the button and it plays the track. I was like, oh, that's cool, gotta have that. Every now and then I walk past it and click, hit the button.
Pink Floyd did something like that on their CD. Do you remember they had a little light that blinked?
Yeah.
Wasn't that cool?
My wife's dad has that.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's burned out now.
I know.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, that's such a collector item, man. Yeah, the light flashing. Yeah.
I was hoping it would last forever.
Nothing lasts forever.
By magic or something, Anyway, that album is 2 is a 5-star review from me. I really enjoyed it. It's and your first solo album was incredible too. You got a lot of praise for that too. What the Water Wants. That was a good album.
It was fun, man.
So you've hit home runs now on both albums. Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I hope people dig this one, man. I really do. I think that the first song, "This Hollow Shell," is a good representation of the rest of the album. So if people like that, then I'm pretty sure they'll like the whole thing. I hope so, at least. Hope so.
I think you're right. Right off the gate, that was the first song I saw, cool. on YouTube, and I said, "Man, this is going to be a great album."
Well, there's a couple more coming out before the album releases.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Good.
This month, I think there's a song coming out. So
yeah, I love singles on videos.
I think the next one is a video.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't know too much going on right now. I just finished another album, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Yeah. No.
Already?
Yeah. I just I don't think anyone knows, but it'll probably be announced pretty soon. But I don't know. Matthias and I worked on something, sort of an idea, and ended up being a full album, and it's finished now. So it's not Fate's Warning,
right?
But it's the two of us. So
okay,
we'll see what happens with that.
Tell the record company it's going to be called 3. And then the next one, do an EP called 3.5.
2 again.
Any idea when you're going to release that, or you don't know yet?
I think it's the next year.
Next year project. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm keeping busy, man. Trying to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, during the whole pandemic thing was just fucking nuts, and nobody was touring, so it was just a matter of writing, So
right.
Time we did. I did the AZ album. I did that Figure of Speechless album with Sheridian and Glenn from Australia. I did the Fates album. I did this solo album. I did the other one with Jim now, and I mean, I like keeping busy. That's the fact. I don't like sitting around doing nothing. I mean, I'd rather be touring, to be honest with you, but writing is, at least it's better than nothing.
Sure. The pandemic, how horrible it was, it brought out a lot of interesting lyrics from songwriters. Sure. In a way, kind of like the Vietnam War brought out, a different way of, A
Yeah.
lot of
It's
different,
fun. Yeah, I remember when we did the last Fates album. There
hmm
was some stuff on there, and Jim and I both agreed. We're like, "Wow, I mean, it's just too fucking obvious." I think, and we're also afraid that everyone else was going to be doing it, so we backed off and kind of went another direction. But that was pretty funny. That yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that. Yeah. Now we started to go down that road, and we just turned to let's just forget that, move away from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too easy.
Too easy. I like when they mention Fate's Warning. You're one of the big three of the
Mhm.
genre. They always mention you guys, Queensryche and Dream Theater.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
I don't know. I hear it all the time. I heard
Do
it
you?
yesterday. I actually heard it from someone yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty funny.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's good
That was
company, though.
yeah, absolutely. I would love to do that tour again. That'd be pretty cool. Just do it
Yeah.
again. That was
Well, the
fun.
last album, Long Day, Good Night, that's a good album as well.
Yeah. It was fun. Definitely
Yeah.
fun.
That was released in
Not always
2020.
fun, but
Yeah.
the recording was crazy because that was during the pandemic, and
Right.
I don't know. Americans would have lost their minds, but in Spain it was a complete close down. Like they
Yeah.
really shut everything down. You couldn't leave your neighborhood. So there were police cars at the end of the neighborhood.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, you couldn't leave your house. You 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 could walk your dog and go to the grocery store. That was it, and go to work.
Hmm.
But you couldn't be outside. Like even the parks had like police tape around them. I fucking went under them with my dog.
So, what happened if they caught you outside?
I really don't know. I think it was just more of a show, but I think maybe they would take you home or take you to jail. I don't
Hmm.
really know. We didn't mess with it, but I had to record vocals, and I have a home studio now since then
hmm
because that, and I record everything here. But at the time, I had to go to a studio in the center, like well, not the center, but probably 12 miles away. And the only way you could really move about was if you were moving, which was a weird loophole in the whole. They give you like a contract that you have to read and shit. Um, and one of the things you could do was move. So we
Hmm.
drew up this thing and said, "Okay, I'm moving to this address," and signed by the landlord or whatever. And I actually fucking hired a truck and I moved to the studio just in case the cops pulled us over or whatever.
Right.
And I ended up being in the studio for 2 weeks, and
Huh.
I was sleeping in the vocal booth on a cot. So I wouldn't
Wow.
say it was fun recording that album. It was different. I was in a studio like the old days, but sleeping on a cot. But it was an experience, put it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Huh. My grandmother and grandfather on my mother's side were both born in Spain.
Oh, okay.
One was from Asturias and the other from Catalunya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asturias. That's funny. Yeah. We're
Yeah.
in the center, man. We're in
And
the
then they
middle.
moved to Cuba. Yeah.
maybe they're better off there. I
I,
don't know.
I like to visit Spain, though. I think it'd be very, very cool.
Yeah, my friends come all the time. I have friends come from the States all the time and they stay with us and we go out and it's really cool. Like, I mean, it's just funny to know that now that like, holy shit, I have that many friends that actually travel to Europe just to vacation or whatever.
Yeah.
Or bands that are touring or, old techs who are friends or, anyone that's, hey, I'm coming to Spain. Okay, come on, let's hang out, man. Let's go.
hmm
I'll show you the best beer bars in all of Madrid. That's
Yeah.
pretty much
So
it.
is it true they wake up in the morning drinking wine? Is it?
No,
No.
it's beer.
It's beer, huh?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a big beer culture. It's
really?
funny. Like my brother still lives in Texas. My older brother, and he came here. My mother and my brother came and hung out. They were here for a couple weeks, and my brother thought it was so weird that you just have people here. It's a drinking culture, not a drunk culture, but a drinking culture. So at lunch, even construction workers, office workers go to have lunch, and they'll have
hmm
beer. It's just how it is. you don't get fired.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would go out and we'd have lunch and do whatever. And then my wife and I, a couple of beers. Let's have a beer. And my brother's like, okay, get a beer. And then later he's like, it's fucking weird. How come you guys only have like 1 or 2 beers and then that's it? I just thought it was the funniest fucking thing. And my brother is, if you're gonna drink beer, you're gonna get drunk. You know, that's just how my brother is. He's like, if I'm
That's funny.
Beer, I'm gonna finish a few hours later.
Yeah.
I just thought it was the funniest fucking thing, man. Like, I don't know. To this day, it makes me laugh. How can you guys just have like 2 beers?
What do you want us to drink a case?
That's shit to do, man. Like, it's 2:00.
Exactly. Yeah. They always say the first 2 beers are probably the best, when you really enjoy it. After that, you just get, bloated and stupid. Yeah. Start falling down.
I got a friend, he just moved away, actually. But he's from Argentina.
Right.
And we had the same kind of conversation. He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is about this Spaniards. He's like, I have 2 beers. I can't stop. I need to hang out with my brother, man.
Yeah, man. He needs to go to Ireland. Those guys drink a lot. You mentioned one of your favorite venues. It's funny, when I heard this, was Toad's Place in Connecticut.
Yeah, Connecticut.
I actually negotiated with Toad's Place at one time to open up a franchise.
Really?
I was in the market to open up a nightclub, and I wanted live music, with famous people a long time ago. And we were talking about a franchise at the time. I was going to put one in DC, the DC area. Huh. Yeah. That was cool. They're still around. Toad's Place is still around.
Toad's is still around? I thought.
Yeah, they are. I think so.
Burned down or something?
I don't know. I saw their website. They said there's still shows coming there.
Huh.
Yeah.
I thought they were long gone. I don't know. Whenever we play Connecticut now, we play that Webster or something. I don't know.
Right.
Old place.
Huh. What? So, who are the musicians that kind of influenced you, and especially to sing?
I mean, the classics, the obvious, Rob Halford.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of my biggest influences was Steve Perry, to be honest.
Yeah.
When I heard him sing, I was like, that's just, how's that coming from a guy? And I thought that was so cool. His voice was great, and harmonies and everything. I even emulated like his look. I had the blue, red, white, and blue Nike, the pants and the hair,
yeah,
I wanted to be just like him. And I was like 13. Funny. But I think of all things, I think, I really loved his voice. It was really soulful, and he could really emote. I thought that was really cool. I think if anybody, it was between those two, Rob Halford and Steve Perry.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was it, and then, as a kid growing up, my brother turned me on to heavy metal. That was the thing. Judas Priest.
Right.
Crocus. I remember Crocus calling the radio station as we were kids. My brother and I were like, "That's new AC/DC. It's new AC/DC." And we actually called the radio station in Dallas, Texas, when we lived there.
Mm-hmm.
And was that the new AC/DC? Said, no, that was Crocus. All right. Long stick goes boom.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was just funny. I'll never forget that. No, that's Crocus. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They actually asked him to be the new singer of AC/DC at one time.
Really?
I had him on the show as well. He's a good guy. Yeah.
Are they still around, Crocus? They're still playing?
They're gonna come back.
Wow.
Yeah, they told me they're gonna do something. They retired, but I think they're gonna do something.
He had a great voice, man.
Yeah, he does.
What was it? Die for you, screaming in the night. Right? That was another.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, that's my stomach growling. Sorry, I haven't had lunch yet.
Brian Johnson's got a house here in Sarasota.
He's a classic car guy, right?
He is.
Yeah.
Big time.
Him driving around. I forgot some show I saw him on. It was pretty amazing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was weird what happened to him too, man. The whole losing his hearing or his voice or whatever. And
I don't know how he kept his voice all those years, you know? That's amazing.
it's like painful to watch.
It is, isn't it?
So it hurts me. I can't do 20 seconds of that, and he's been doing it all these years.
Amazing.
The concerts are like 2 hours long. Like,
I don't see how he does it. I'd have an aneurysm if I tried to do that.
yeah, totally.
How do you keep your voice in shape? Are you a smoker or you're not a smoker?
I don't keep my voice in shape at all. Yeah, I smoke. I've smoked forever, man. Since
Really?
yeah, it's really terrible.
You would
And
never know it.
yeah, you would buy my clothes, I guess, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty terrible. I mean, I sing a lot, when I'm writing or doing things like that. I sing almost every day, but before like a tour or something, I'll go to a rehearsal studio I have here, and I'll sing through a PA with just a music track, and I'll sing over that, and I'll do that for probably 3 months before a tour,
Right.
times a week, just to get my voice in shape. And it's
Mm-hmm.
funny, like I'm recording at home, I don't really notice it, but when I go to the studio and I sing for 30 minutes for the first day, that I haven't really belted out, um, I really notice it, man. Like some of my highs I can't reach, and I'll get to a point where I'm singing higher or louder, and it just my throat closes. Like it just
Mm.
this is nope, not today, man, not today,
Wow.
Satan.
Interesting.
So I I have to work on that, and after like 4 or 5 sessions, it gets back to normal. But it's pretty funny
Mm.
that I don't really notice it when I'm recording, because I'll just I can usually go line by line, you know, and yeah, so that's one thing I actually miss going to the studio and
Yeah.
just singing for 2 hours by myself. It's kind of fun.
There's so much pressure on you guys, on singers in the band. I
Yeah, man.
mean, if
And
you screw up, the whole band is fucked up.
and you get older, and you can't sing the same. I mean, there's a few singers that still got it. I mean, Bruce Dickinson,
Yeah.
amazing. Rob Halford still sounds pretty
Yeah.
good.
But there's a lot that don't have it anymore either, and they're still touring.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. That's when you go, oh, half step down, sure, cool with
Yeah.
me. But yeah, it's kind of whether you smoke or not, take care of your voice or not. It's as you get older, nothing gets easier. Nothing.
Right. It's true. Here's your final two questions. All right. First of all, what was your first concert you ever went to?
My first concert I ever went to is funny. I remember this. It was Rod Stewart.
Really?
And the reason is I was a kid.
Right.
I was probably 13 or so. But when I lived in Dallas, Texas, I lived in Oak Cliff.
Mm-hmm.
We had friends that we would just ride our bikes all over the place. My mom had no idea. And we would ride our bikes downtown, which is like
Mm-hmm.
10 miles away. Oh, you'd have to cross the bridge.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
Yeah. So my friends and I just went downtown, rode our bikes
Mm-hmm.
at night. God, I was a shitty kid. And we saw this like arena. I don't remember how it happened, but it was an arena, and the fucking doors were open.
Really?
So yeah, so we just, I mean, this was what, 67, 77, 80, maybe 81,
Yeah.
something. And the doors were open, so we just went inside and we walked in, and it was a fucking arena show. And
That's crazy.
stood there and I watched Rod Stewart, and so that was my first like
Huh.
concert ever.
Free concert. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't stay the whole time, but I
Right.
knew who Rod Stewart was. Everybody knew who Rod Stewart was.
Yeah.
We just watched. I remember he had a white mic stand that he twirled around.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty rad.
Yeah.
That's
That's awesome. Just walk into a show.
Yeah. An
Yeah.
arena show.
Yeah.
Isn't that nowadays? So,
Exactly.
impossible. They want
All
to
right.
out now.
If
Right?
you had Here's your final question. If you had a Field of Dreams wish, like the movie, to perform, collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
Hmm. Oof.
I get some interesting answers on this.
I don't know, man. I really don't. I don't know. I really love is like a lyricist, and um, I don't know. I really don't know. I really couldn't give you an answer. I mean, I love working with the guys at Fates, but I don't know if
Hmm.
that makes sense or not. But to me, working with those guys is it's fun, and it's always an experience. So I don't know. Top of my head, I couldn't tell you, but I would say I love working with the guys in my band.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, after all
That's
these
good,
years.
man. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
All right, man.
always
Well, I want to say very special thanks to Roy Avon of Avenue Media for arranging this interview with Ray Alder. Roy's a good
thank you,
guy.
Roy.
Yeah. Pre-order the latest release by Ray Alder 2, available in its various formats at www.rayalder.link.2/2. And it's probably on Amazon and all the other avenues, of course. The official release date, June 9th this year.
June 9th. Yeah.
June
You can
9th.
see it now. You can see the new song on YouTube and on Spotify, things like
Yeah.
that.
And Hollow Shell is
Free.
incredible.
It's free.
It's free. Awesome.
So,
And the Hollow Shell, it's a lyric video um, on YouTube, which is cool. If you
yeah,
love
yeah.
lyrics like I do, you're going to get on YouTube. So you can also purchase What the Water Wants as well, which is a great album. And you can contact Ray on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the Fates Warning official site, of course. And maybe some surprises from Fates Warning as well. Who
Maybe.
knows?
See what happens. Yeah, yeah. You never know.
You never know. Never say never.
Exactly.
So, did people call you Ray Ray like they called me?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that a few times. I've also heard Raymond and Mundo.
Yeah, I get all that. My son's a Raymond too, so
Oh, okay.
we got a lot of Raymonds. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually Raymond.
I like Ray over Raymond because then he's
My mother calls me Raymond.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Yeah.
Slagle. Brian Slagle calls me Raymond.
Really?
Funny. Yeah. Raymond?
It's like the official greeting, Raymond. You know, everybody loves Raymond.
I'm in trouble now.
Ray, thank you so much, man, for being on the show. The album's incredible. 5 stars. I loved it. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, let's start working on that now. I got nothing to do right now. So. Yeah, finally. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, man. Well, you seem very chilled in Spain. You know,
yeah,
that's cool.
It's a very chill country, man.
Yeah,
I want to visit.
It does.
Laid back.
That's cool.
2 beers, and then that's it. You know,
right.
The evening. If you enjoy having dinner at 10 o'clock at night,
that's right. I forgot about that. They do.
I'm used to it now, man.
Yeah. How's the food?
It's good. It's
yeah.
Good. I mean, I miss a lot of the American stuff.
Right.
I mean,
right.
I was never like a healthy eater. I'm just a normal guy, but I mean, I miss like Philly cheesesteaks.
Oh yeah.
And I miss the Mexican food trucks in LA. Like,
yeah.
Man,
can't get a taco there.
It's like deep Mexico tacos.
Yeah.
Oaxaca.
What?
It's not Tex-Mex. It's not LA. It's not.
But you're spoiled in Texas.
Yeah, I know.
Get all the great food in Texas,
LA
man.
too, man.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, well, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate it.
Me too, man. It's great talking to you. Good luck to you. My best to the family.
Thanks so much. You too, man. Take care of yourself.
All right, you too.
And thanks for the props. I appreciate it.
Sure, man.
All right, man.
All right, take care.
Take care, Ray.
All right,
Bye.
bye.